You don't need another big goal to feel good about yourself. What you need is something that actually works, something that helps you stay consistent even when life gets messy. Most people start strong, get excited, write down goals, make plans, and then nothing. The same cycle repeats. They feel like a failure, not because they didn't want it, but because they never had a system that kept them on track. Here's the truth. Goals sound nice, but they don't hold you up when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. Systems do. A good system makes your life easier. It helps you move forward without having to think about it every minute. It doesn't rely on motivation. It runs on action. This audiobook isn't about hype. It's about showing you how to build a life that works for you. Real habits, real structure, real change. If you're tired of starting over, this will help you finally move forward. For good. Chapter 1. Choose actions that match the life you want. You don't get the life you want by waiting around for it. You get it by making daily decisions that point in that direction. You get it by choosing actions that line up with the person you want to become. That's where it all begins. You don't need a giant plan. You don't need the perfect opportunity. What you need is to ask yourself, what kind of life do I really want? And then make sure what you do today matches that. Most people say they want a better life, but their actions tell a different story. They say they want to be healthy, but their choices are built around comfort and convenience. They say they want to be wealthy, but they waste time every day and avoid hard work. They say they want peace, but they fill their mind with negativity and noise. You don't get what you want by talking about it. You get what you want by proving it through your behavior. That's the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. Growth is not about setting goals and then hoping something magical happens. Growth is about building a life that reflects your values. Every little choice you make adds up. You either choose the action that fits your future or the one that keeps you in the past. And you're choosing every single day whether you realize it or not. So the question is, do your actions match the life you say you want? You see, systems matter more than goals. A goal is something you write down once. A system is something you live every day. A goal says, I want to be fit. A system says, I work out every morning. A goal says, I want to be financially free. A system says, I invest a little every week and spend wisely. A goal is a wish. A system is proof. The person who builds a system doesn't have to hope things will change. They make sure of it. That's why systems win. Because they are based on your daily decisions, not big declarations, not hype, just consistent behavior that keeps stacking up. So if you want to change your life, don't start with a dream. Start with your next move. Ask yourself, what does a better life require from me right now? If you want peace, maybe you stop reaching for your phone first thing in the morning. If you want strength, maybe you stop making excuses for skipping the gym. If you want success, maybe you stop waiting to feel ready and just begin. Don't overthink it. Start small, but start aligned. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to do the right thing next. It's not about intensity. It's about direction. When your actions match the life you want, progress becomes automatic. You don't need to force it. You just need to keep doing the work. It's not going to be easy every day. Some days you'll be tired, some days you'll feel like giving up. But that's when you go back to this truth. If I really want it, I have to live like it. Not talk about it. Not wait for it. Live like it. The problem is, most people live in two separate worlds. One world is their imagination. That's where they see the life they want. The second world is their habits. That's where they live every day. And if those two worlds don't match, frustration builds. You feel stuck, because you've built routines around the wrong identity. Change doesn't come from wanting something new, it comes from doing something new. You don't need better ideas, you need better patterns. You don't need more inspiration, you need better systems. And those systems start with choosing actions that reflect the life you want, not the life you're trying to escape. Start with your morning. Is it built with purpose or reaction? Do you start your day on your terms, or do you let the outside world decide your mood? What you do in the first hour of your day tells you a lot about how serious you are about building a better life. Then look at your time. How much of your day is spent on things that actually move you forward, not things that keep you busy, not distractions that feel productive. I mean actions that align with your highest priorities. If the answer is not much, then you're not on the right system yet, and it's time to change that. Now, think about your energy. Who are you spending it on? Where does it go? If most of your energy is going towards stress, scrolling, comparison, or people who drain you, you've got to take that back, because without energy, even the best system won't work. Protect your focus like it matters, because it does. Your energy, your time, your habits, those are your tools. Use them wisely. When they're aligned with who you want to become, you don't need to chase motivation. You just keep showing up. You stay steady. And over time, things begin to shift. This is how people change. Not by setting a big goal at the start of the year, but by deciding every single day to live like their future matters. You don't wait until life is perfect. You build better days, one action at a time. That's where power comes from. Daily alignment. You don't need to control the outcome. You need to control the process. The outcome will take care of itself when the process is strong. So ask yourself right now, what do I do every day? What do I do every week? What do I keep doing even when nobody's watching? That's your system. And that system is either building your future or blocking it. If you want to be proud of your life, you have to be proud of your behavior. If you want to feel in control, you have to take control of the things that shape you. Your choices, your habits, your routines. And the truth is, you already know the difference between what's helping and what's hurting. You just have to be honest enough to admit it and strong enough to change it. You don't need more time, you need more direction. You don't need to feel ready, you need to start doing. Because once your life becomes a reflection of your system, you don't have to worry about motivation. You wake up with purpose. You go to bed with progress. Choose actions that match the life you want, not once, every day. Make it your standard. Make it non-negotiable. And when life throws chaos your way, and it will, your system will hold you steady, because you're not reacting to life anymore. System alter, energy levels, your system. You will truly become your life. Because you're building it, brick by brick, step by step. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your system. And that system is built by what you repeat. Not what you say, not what you plan, what you repeat. So build it wisely, live it daily, and never forget, your system is your real future in motion. You either design it with intention, or you drift into someone else's plan. And that's the real cost of not choosing your actions wisely. The life you want is not far away. It's built into what you do next. So make that next move count. Make it reflect your values, make it reflect your standard, make it reflect your future. Because once your actions and your vision start matching, you don't just wish for change, you live it. Every day. And that, my friend, is how you build a life worth being proud of. Chapter 2. Build patterns that feel natural, not forced, daily. You don't need to force your way into a better life. That's the mistake most people make. They try to build change on pressure and willpower, and eventually they crash. If your habits don't feel natural, you won't stick with them. And if you can't stick with something, it won't change anything. That's why real transformation starts with building patterns that fit who you are, where you are, and how you live right now. Not some perfect version of you, not some future idea of who you should be, the real you today. When you force habits that don't feel right, you build resistance. Every day becomes a battle, and soon you start avoiding the work. Not because you're lazy, but because it doesn't feel like you. It feels like someone else's plan. That's the hidden reason most people fail. They're trying to live someone else's discipline, not their own. They copy what worked for someone on the internet or in a book without ever asking, does this actually work for me? You have to stop making your system feel like punishment. That's not sustainable. A good system should feel like you're giving something to your life, not taking something away. When you design your patterns around who you are, you create ease. And with ease comes flow. And with flow comes consistency. That's what matters most, not how hard you go, but how long you can keep going. The people who succeed long-term don't rely on hype or huge bursts of effort. They rely on rhythm. They know their limits. They know their strengths. And they build around them, not against them. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. if your mind works better at night. You don't need to read 10 books a month if you gain more from deep reflection. You don't need to journal every hour if that's not how you think. There is no single rule. What matters is finding what fits you and repeating it. If it's not sustainable, it's not useful. This is where self-awareness becomes powerful. Not emotional talk, but clear understanding. What energizes you? What drains you? What helps you think clearly? What throws you off track? If you don't understand your own patterns, you'll keep forcing ones that don't fit, and that's how you burn out. Start by observing your current behavior without judgment, not to criticize it, but to learn from it. When do you feel most focused? What part of your day do you waste the most? What's one thing you do every day without effort? That's your starting point. Take what's already working and build around it. If you naturally enjoy walking in the evening, turn that into thinking time or gratitude reflection. If you like silence in the morning, protect that space and use it for planning or deep work. If you already drink coffee at a certain time, use that as a trigger to review your day or check in with your habits. You don't always need to add more. Sometimes you just need to attach meaning to what's already there. The goal isn't to create a perfect schedule. The goal is to create a pattern that pulls you forward instead of pushing you down. When a system fits, it feels light. It feels like support. And that feeling keeps you showing up, even when you're tired, even when you're stressed, even when life gets messy. Because it's part of your identity now. Not a task, but a pattern of living. And here's the truth. Change doesn't happen when you do something big once. It happens when you do something small enough to repeat, day after day. You don't need your system to be impressive. You need it to be real. If all you can manage is 10 minutes of focus a day, start there. If all you can stick to is one good meal instead of 3, begin with that. If the only quiet moment you have is before bed, use it. The key is not perfection. It's emotional alignment. When your habits feel right, they don't feel like a chore. They feel like self-respect. You start looking forward to them, not because they're easy, but because they match your values. And when your actions line up with your values, your confidence grows. Not because someone praised you, but because you're living in harmony with what you believe. It's also important to recognize that patterns evolve. What works now might not work 6 months from now, and that's okay. The system is not fixed. You are not fixed. You're allowed to grow. In fact, you must grow. But growth doesn't mean abandoning everything. It means adjusting, tuning, improving without breaking your rhythm. Maybe you add a new habit slowly. Maybe you drop one that doesn't serve you anymore. Maybe you shift your schedule to fit a new chapter of life. That's not weakness, that's intelligence. The ability to stay flexible while staying committed. That's what makes a system last. Don't confuse structure with pressure. You can have structure without guilt. You can have discipline without stress. The best systems don't trap you. They free you. They give you clarity, not confusion. They make your life easier, not harder. If your current habits feel like a burden, you need to redesign them. Not quit, just reshape. Start thinking in terms of anchors. What are the actions that ground you during the day? What helps you feel centered? It could be a morning stretch, a moment of quiet before your work, a daily check-in with yourself, a phone-free evening walk. These small anchors matter more than you think. They create rhythm, and rhythm keeps you stable when everything else around you feels unpredictable. And let's be honest, life is not always stable. You're going to have bad days. You're going to lose focus. You're going to feel off. But if your patterns are built around who you are, you'll always come back to them, not because you're forcing it, but because it feels like home. That's what a strong system does. It brings you back to center. You don't need motivation every day. You don't need